Yo, what is up, guys? So welcome back to another episode of the Intentional Iron Podcast. In episode 3, I'll be talking with Chris Fine, who is one of the hardest workers that you will ever find. From the way he checks the boxes, his psychology, and just his thought process overall. We talked about the Arnold, we talked about Peptide, training, faith, philosophy. Be sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and let's get into the episode. How I do my Wednesdays too is Wednesdays and Thursdays is like my days off of Walmart or whatever. So I always get up there and train one of my clients to do like a little bit of ab work, a little bit of cardio work, and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, man.
Sure.
So what really has gotten me interested in you and like want to bring on the podcast is like your work ethic, like your history of just working your ass off, because that is something that is like really missing in like 2025 or 2026 now with especially guys my age. So like, give me a little bit of background of kind of who you are first. What got you into bodybuilding? Like the whole story of Chris.
So, man, way back, I was a baseball player through high school. Captain or co-captain of my team in high school. We went to the state championship. So definitely, competed at a high level back then. And I think that's where I learned it. I learned work ethic from a young age. Was if I practice baseball, I'm going to do better in the games. I'm going to throw harder, whatever the case may be. And then in real life, my dad was a doctor, and he's always gone on call, never, called out of work. And he prided himself of, hey man, in 35 years of practicing as a physician, I never called in. So I saw outside of bodybuilding, or I guess just had a mentor in real life of, if you work hard and through consistency, you will get a payout. So you will see positive progression and results. And then for me, I mean, just a little bit of background on me. Shit, my dog real quick. A little bit of background for me was I went to school and I took that same mentality of, if I practice hard in baseball or watch my dad continue his consistency and routine in college, it was, how am I going to make the grades? I was not somebody who could just look at the book the day before the test. I had to prepare. So, every day or every night was the opportunity to block off an hour for study time, 30 minutes to do physics, 30 minutes to do biology, whatever the case was. But I knew I had to just kind of be consistent and diligent with the time that I devoted towards what I needed to create. So I needed to learn the material to pass to get the grades, and that's just what it is. And I never looked at trying to find an easier way out. Like I'm not a person in my background that would quit if I signed up to do something, be it a sport, be it a club, or whatever the case was. I would finish it till the end, and then I would review if I wanted to continue doing it or not. Yeah, man, that's basically just kind of the mentality I have about life, not just bodybuilding. I think to just create constant consistency and routine, you can kind of, suppress your emotion or suppress, even a mentality, and just handle your business. And that's what made me fall in love about bodybuilding. Was it's up to me to train however hard I want to train. It's up to me to devote the outside time of creating a sleep pattern, making sure I'm drinking enough water, yada yada, to create a product, to develop my body, to try to compete and do well at this thing that we call bodybuilding.
Yeah, it seems like literally everything that you did from a young age kind of all led to like this bodybuilding lifestyle. It all kind of like lined up like that. So that's awesome. It's because like when you learn that from such a young age, with like the having your dad in the picture of being like, I never called in, 35 years or whatever, just being able to apply that into bodybuilding, I bet, was like such a game changer. That's why I tell people to get into bodybuilding too, is like the structure and the discipline and the all of that. Having a cool physique is having a good physique is cool. Having big muscles is cool and shit. But it's like the routine and stuff and the work ethic is what you gain a lot from. And that's one thing that I wish guys like not saying that no one my age gets into it for the right reasons or what have you, but with social media nowadays and with like the likes being the main driver of everything, and the clout and shit, it's just like, it's sad seeing not a lot of guys just getting into the gym for like the right reasons. And like, I don't it's just because a lot of guys like your age, that got into it for the right reasons, have lasted. You know what I mean? Like, you've been doing this for how long have you been like doing bodybuilding live for?
34, man. I'm 34 now. My first show was when I was 18. Calculate. And then, I trained, for baseball and sports athletics at the age of 13, 14, got into weight training at 15. But Yeah, yep.
It's just hard. It's just like, I don't think a lot of guys getting into the sport nowadays or just into the gym in general look at it at like a long term
Yes.
thing. It's like, how do I get the pro card? How do I get the likes? And that's like a short term thing. But it's like when you learn to just love the doing of it, it's like that. It's kind of hard for me to say that because I've only been doing it for like a year. So it's like, but just hearing guys talk about it, it's like if you want this to last, learn to love the process shit of it first, and that's something that seems like you've
Yeah.
like fucking
It's
mastered it.
and independently, so everybody has a motive. Maybe I don't know if my brain chemistry would be different if I grew up with social media. So YouTube was just coming around when I was like 19, 20 years old. So my motive at a early age was I need to get into the weight training to get better at athletics. And then as I found out what bodybuilding was, I said, "Ooh, I like this for what it does for me outside of the gym. It develops my mentality of who I want to be as a person."
Hmm.
Are you a type of person who wakes up and makes their bed? Are you a type of person who, if you say you're going to be there at 12 o'clock, are you showing up at 12:30, or are you showing up on time?
Hmm.
That was my motive. I guess the reason I started, diving deeper in the psychology of weight training and how that could help me in my regular life was what type of person do I want to be, and it could be as simple as the training partner aspect. If you are a guy who, hey man, let's train and I devote my time to you, but you're showing up 30 minutes or you're calling 10 minutes before the session, hey, bro, I'm not going to make it, or you don't even get a courtesy call. I didn't want to be that type of person that people looked at and be like, damn, like, can't really rely on Chris to show up, or
Yeah.
his words really don't match his actions. So, take it with a grain of salt. And
Right.
my motive for taking bodybuilding serious was I love to train. So when I was in the weight training class for baseball, varsity baseball, it was damn, I am enjoying, seeing my progression and my strength go up. I see my body develop a little bit. That got me more intrigued as opposed to, oh, I'm training to pursue baseball. So then, my narrow mind was, what can I do to enhance this? How can I be better at this? If my motive was shit, like I could get 100,000 followers and make money, and that was a option at 16 years old, I don't
Hmm.
know if I would say I would go that route or not, because the endorphin rush was what I craved every day. Just going to
Hmm.
this gym, world off, hoodie up, I guess you could say, and just banging weights.
Yeah.
I'll have to touch on that where you said the work ethic. I think work ethic is an ability to drive intensity if we're talking bodybuilding terms.
Hmm.
But as far as like work ethic, to me or someone like you, like I've seen your pictures, man, you're someone who's been absolutely peeled. So you understand the process of, if I devote my time and I do X, Y, and Z, I will see a
Hmm.
result. So it
Yeah.
was like, that's kind of where that motive came from for me.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I wanted to touch on with you for sure is like, I know you've talked about in the past, is like you're that young. Like, let's just say we're going on we're kind of talking opposite ends of the spectrum. So we were talking about the people that get into the sport for the shitty reasons, like the followers, the likes. But then you have the kid, kind of like myself and some of my friends or whatever,
Yeah.
that are like fucking obsessed with this. Like it's all we think about. So
Oh, yeah.
what do you think that like young obsession and that like crazy obsession is almost like paramount or like very essential for success in anything in bodybuilding especially? Like, do you think that young obsession that almost kind of like
I
delusional?
think you have to have that, especially in
Yeah.
bodybuilding. I think you have to have a passion to,
Yeah.
do what we do. If you just like lifting weights but you can't get your diet on point, that's a problem. If you can't train unless you're in a caloric surplus, that's a problem. So in order to like get the most out of bodybuilding, I guess, and demands to get your body to change, you have to be like that.
You've ever thought about how I actually think about training, a free guide in the description going over all of this. I mentally prepare before each set, how I approach warm-up sets, and the intention behind each sets within the session. If you're looking for a quick guide on how you can build your sessions and the way that you need to approach your training sessions, check out that free guide in the description. But back to the podcast.
And I don't want to use myself self as a success, but if you only believe, being around people who've been through medical school and get their doctorates, MDs, pass their boards, that's in my family. My brother's a doctor. To see how driven he was in that realm, to see that some periods of time his diet wasn't the best because he was doing rotations and having to stay up 24 hours and couldn't just branch off and eat, the amount of studying that he had to do to pass his exams. Like, now you're taking a real life scenario of being all in has paid off. So
Yeah.
from what I've seen that guy going through school pay off. For me, of course, I didn't get the pro card or the ultimate dream, but I've owned a gym. I've worked at multiple gyms. I've developed an online coaching business that is successful, and it took me to be all in. It took me to be devoted to this craft. Now, if I was let's just break it. Let's slow it down. I feel like I'm an average guy. I feel like you're an average guy. In order for the average guy to get ahead, I've not mastered the balance of making sure everything's equaled and watered the same. I only believed in, if I'm going to do something and I want to be successful or in get a return from something, you have to be all in. And if you have to take some water from this cup and put it over to this cup, then you have to do what you have to do. But I think a lot of people, they don't want to bet on their all in, the fear of failure. Like anybody who's being pushed or pressed, if you can learn and you can be mature enough to be present and understand, then you can take what you've learned and move forward. I mean, look at the process of bodybuilding. You learn, like, what is the gym. You learn what a bench press is. Now you learn that a bench press develops the pectoralis. How do you recover this money or this muscle? How do you outside of the gym, like, what type of nutrients is this muscle? So
It's
you
so
can't,
far.
I mean, maybe a lot of people can balance a lot of shit, but the people that I talk to who are at the top, winning their pro cards, competing in the Olympias, doing well at Olympias, to be 100 or to be very at the top of bodybuilding, I like to talk psychology with a lot of the guys at the top. So our conversations aren't PED use. Our conversations are, how much food are you eating? What's the intensity of your training? It's kind of already understood. Like, once you go through a period of bodybuilding, you'll learn that all that stuff is necessary. But the conversation of, hey man, like, what does your outside life look like? Like, are you going to the bar till 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock and then coming? No, man. Like, these guys are the definition of what you're asking of. Do you need to be narrow minded, for a lack of term, or do you need to be all in or obsessed? I think if you're, obsession within a healthy frame, you're gonna see results in anything that you do. You know what I mean?
I completely agree with that. It's like, I think with social media and people always looking for, like, well, I need the balance, and I think that a lot of young guys get into the sport are looking at their, like, obsession as, like, oh, this is a bad thing that I love this much. Like, oh, all I really care about, dude, is getting my meals in, lifting, recovering, learning about the nutrition. Like, that's all I care about. And I think people, especially, it all depends, like, your environment. Like, your environment plays a huge role in, like, who you let depict what is, like, normal or right for you. But, like, a lot of guys will look at their process. This is what I do. I'm basically speaking how I feel. It's like, I'm all I give a fuck about is this little thing, and it's like people just can't understand that. It's because they've never been obsessed with anything, and that's every single person I've ever listened to or talked to. It's like, it does take your all. Like, you have to be,
100%.
like, you have, like the reference you made with the cups. It's like,
Yeah.
I love that analogy. It's like, not every cup is gonna be even or whatever, and it's like, even if the more, I do think, like, the more cups that you try to fill, it's like each one's gonna have a little less in it, and you're gonna give a little less, like, good intention effort toward that one thing. It's like, how about you just pick, like, the 3 cups that actually make you happy and fill them fuckers up,
Yeah. And that's all you have to
whatever that
focus.
is. Yeah.
That's all you should focus on. I always ask people, man, like, why make bodybuilding such a negative if it's a passion and it's something that you love to do? Like, why would you look for a ways around to be your best? Like, when I was coming up with, I hate to say the magazine era, but that's where I learned a lot of my information. Was, it wasn't really, hey, what can I do to make this easier? Or what can I, that really wasn't a concept of, like, can I make this easier or can I have this instead of that? It was always the goal of, hey man, what is necessary? What's the necessary requirement to build tissue? To make
Mm-hmm.
sure there's fat oxidation, to make sure that I'm recovering so I can train with the correct intensity. And it wasn't like, and maybe I need to start managing fatigue and this and that. The majority of us pursuing bodybuilding, we don't have enough muscle on our frames.
Mm-hmm.
The 10, 15 years of bodybuilding to get a body that is competitive if you're going to step on stage, the easier route, man, I just don't understand it. I don't.
No, neither me neither.
If
It's
it's
like
if you get amped up every fucking day and you know like cardio is going to be good on blood circulation, fat metabolism, if you know, hey man, I'm going to get my sleep and that's going to recover my muscle, that's what I'm fascinated with. All
mm-hmm.
the balance outside, who's doing this and that, I'm really not focused on that because I'm focused on how to utilize the time in my day
Mm-hmm.
to get the most out of my day so I can develop a physique to be competitive. So
Yeah.
like the bodybuilder who's trying to get on stage to win shows, the motive to do or partake in this sport is probably a little bit different than the guy who's like, "Hey, I'll compete if it helps me, if it's an avenue that'll grow my online presence and if my
Mm-hmm.
goal is to make $5,000 a week off a coach." The motives are wrong, you know.
It's different. Yeah.
Maybe
It's
they need,
different.
maybe, hey, if I can save 3 hours tonight to do editing and make this video cool as fuck, where the other guy's like, hey, I need an hour of meditation, I need an hour of whatever, I need a 30 minutes of stretch, whatever the case is. And then to the person looking in is like, well, that's too much, bro.
Yeah.
Who is that person to decide? That's why I love talking about psychology, right?
Yeah, the psychology of bodybuilding is like such a cool thing because it's like you have, like you said, you have the guy that's gonna go in. The I think the psychology and the root cause of why you got into bodybuilding will depict where you take this shit. Because like for me, the reason I got into bodybuilding, well, I got into the gym because I'm during COVID, I gained like fucking 30, 40 pounds and I became a fat slob. So and then what really what really sparked, my mom's probably gonna watch this and she may be one of the live people watching, but I remember she was like, you know, Maddox, all those like those footwork drills and those speed drills, you used to be one of the first kids in those, and now you're like one of the last. And I heard that, and I was like, a
Yeah.
snap. And then what led me to get into bodybuilding was like through football, you're having to do the lifting and shit. And I was like, you know, the games are fun, the practice is fun, being with the guys is fun, but like whenever like there's a bunch of meatheads just banging on the weights on max day and PR day, that's what I liked. And then like I
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
like practice was fun, you know, hitting people's fun, cool, but like I like doing this. And then you could like you can't really practice football outside of like the parameters of practice. You can't really go, but with
Right.
bodybuilding in the gym, it's literally like it's all the time. It's a
Right.
24/7. Like you never like it's like almost like game time is like every day. Every time you from the sleeping to the tracking your sleep to the water to the meals to the all of it. It's like the game time is all the time.
And it's a day. If I could like advise somebody of your age getting into bodybuilding, it's all those are non-negotiables, and that's what gets debated online of how much water and how much peptide and how that's all everybody's doing the same thing. I promise you, it's the person who can control their mental state to where you're not getting stressed if you, oh shit, I got a light bill, fuck, I gotta pay this bill, or oh, I got in a bad relationship, my girlfriend X, Y, and Z. The person who can maintain just a stress-free environment, that's better than any peptide someone can take, that's better than any rep and reserve program that they can come up with. So like it really is a master of your mind through your daily life. Like you gotta do your cardio, eat your meals, go to sleep, regardless if you missed a late payment on your car payment. But a guy like myself, and this is where personalities come to play, that used to I would try to have everything lined up, but I would stress over the relationship. And oh shit, like you're so stressed, and now you're taxing your nervous system to try to go in and perform. You know, to train in order to get your body the required demand of stimulus, dude. You have to go in there and fucking train and treat it like game day. You know, if you're just going in there and oh, I'm gonna do an activation workout and this, it's really not doing enough to damage the tissue for new growth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I like I cannot get behind for like the life of me is the whole rep and reserve. And because my coach is Justin Wyatt. You know him.
Yeah, Justin.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah, be
yeah,
Justin.
so like that kind of mentality isn't even a fucking thought to me. You know what I mean? Like there may be merit to it in very special scenarios of like a Nick Walker who has stupid amounts of muscle and has earned that. Like what I've said in the past on a couple of podcasts is like that whole fatigue management thing. I think you need to earn the right to
Yeah.
like gauge your fatigue. It's like most
And
people don't.
as you get older, the more muscle you recruit. Like people watch Nick train and they misunderstand the fact that during that set he is so focused on the intention of what he's doing. A lot of people, man, like when they're training, be it oh it burns too much, or be it they're looking over there, somebody walks by them. The amount of focus that this guy goes into with one set, and that is probably like when he's like, man, I really do. I think Nick is more into the reps and reserved, or maybe he's not into going past failure anymore. But his reps in reserved are probably really authentic, fucking genuine. Can't do any more, or I break for him. A lot of people are they don't have the ability to create the amount of focus that's required, regardless of if you're hyped up for a set, you're not a hype guy for a set. When you are in the fucking set, are you 100% focused on what this muscle is doing, or are you focused on balancing the weight? Are you focused on what this person over here is doing? And I
Yeah.
think that gets misunderstood for the reps in reserve. Like I don't think a lot of people, and I really don't think a lot of people just starting out really know what like real training is. Like you see how Justin and them train.
Yeah.
You can't go into the gym if you're focused on what we just all the bill, the car payment, the road. If you're not focused on, hey, I'm gonna have to fucking be present within my training, you're probably not even touching anywhere close to fucking reps in reserve, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's like that's something I'm becoming to learn too. It's like, yeah, training intensely is like, it's off the forefront. You would think it's like, oh, I'm getting hyped up and oh, I'm making a
Yeah.
lot of noise and that was hard. But it's like, no, you need to be like mentally like imagining you are in the muscle with that
Yeah,
intensity, with that effort.
watching the muscle expand, controlling the weight,
Yeah,
pushing forward.
it
You
takes
can't
all
do
that.
that. You can't do that when someone comes over and they, hey man, let me talk to you. Hey, how was your weekend? Like
Yeah.
you have to be really really zoned in, and I think that comes also comes with a background like we talked about earlier. How did you get into training? Or are you an
Mm,
ex-sport person? Are you competitive? Are you just here to try to get the body to grow? Like a lot of people, man, they don't really understand like the actual requirements of focus during your training to get what you need for stimulus, you know what I mean?
yeah, see, like I grow up. I've gone to this gym in my small town in Arkansas, like that's all I've gone to, and it's like
Right,
the amount of lack of focus within sessions, and obviously, I don't like shitting on people in the gym because like they're in their
right,
field,
right, right.
they're doing whatever, but it's like if you're wanting to bodybuild, it's like you have to be like in that shit. Like I don't,
Yeah, yeah,
and just seeing like people like yeah, I take bodybuilding pretty seriously, I do this and this and that and then that's like in between sets you're on your phone. That's probably what you're gonna be thinking about in your set,
yes.
and then the intensity and the intention's fucking out the window, and it's like you just screwed it up. You screwed it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Because I mean, not every single day. You're like, I mean, think about if you kept waking up at night, you didn't get the best sleep or whatever. But the one
Hmm.
thing you can control is the focus in the gym. And that comes with your ability to rid distractions. Like if you're doing emails or texting or scrolling, or your friend sent you something, it takes a very fucking special person to like hit that switch. Oh, I can go right back into my training. Like the
Hmm.
brain and the body need to be in sync to get the job done, in my opinion. But like you said, man, we're talking strictly training to pursue bodybuilding to be competitive.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to the gym for whatever reason, so not knocking it, but like again, to reiterate, if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck to build a competitive physique, it ain't meant to be easy, man.
Yeah,
It
it's
ain't
not
meant to
meant to
be
be
easy,
easy.
bro. You're
Yeah,
literally
literally.
training your body to morph into what you want it to become.
Yeah, and you're literally like I put on my story yesterday or a post like you're literally the food and all this stuff. You're literally adding human to your body like
Yeah,
that is not gonna take that cannot that process. There's no way that requires 70%
Yeah,
thought. It's
exactly,
like
exactly.
you're adding human to your body. But one thing I wanted to touch on with kind of brought up like people in the gym or whatever is environment. How is the bodybuilding scene in Myrtle Beach? Is there like a big bodybuilding, like a lot of people, a lot of cool gyms, or in North Carolina,
I
right?
mean, yes, I'm in South Carolina, man.
South Carolina.
More towards like Charlotte area, Raleigh is big
Mm-hmm.
for like big for bodybuilding. There's a few people in Myrtle Beach that compete for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a few classic pros, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't think we have any big, super like big bodybuilders or whatnot, but a few girls compete, local level, but not as much as you would think, like in Texas or somewhere like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So how much of a role do you think that plays? Because like for me personally, like I said, I live in like a small Arkansas town. Like no one here, everyone here just drinks and hunts. No one does the bodybuilding
Yeah.
shit. And that's actually I'm actually moving down to Dallas here pretty soon. I'm doing some cool moving shit down there. So that's just something I want to touch on with you is like how important do you think that sort of environment, being in an environment, a correct environment is for bodybuilding specifically?
All right. I look at it two ways. I look at it two ways. So I trained in Bevs for about 2 years. And I was, I would walk by Juan Burrow, what up, Juan? There was Max Charles in there. Victor would train there sometimes. Team would be in there sometimes. That is being around the people. It's like, how do you not have motivation? So like every day when you train, you're like, I'm gonna get better. However, I own my gym in my hometown, so I owned my gym for 6 years, and that fuck you energy that you get, kind of where like you're at an age where people are gonna be like, what is he doing? And I wasn't mature enough at your age to be like, that really doesn't matter what anybody has to say. Like I'm pursuing what I want to pursue, but like training and you being in the only one into it, it kind of rids you of all distractions. Like I I the same kind of hometown. Everybody goes to the bars or whatnot. Well, I wasn't into that, so I was hyper focused on running my gym and pursuing bodybuilding. So, I mean, I can't really answer like one's better than the other. I think that's if you're motivated and you're fucking driven. Now, I will say what type of gym you're in would definitely matter. If you're in a gym where it's just shit energy and I wouldn't want to even be around that, to be honest with you. But if you're around a gym where you can train, have proper equipment, I mean, you have the equipment, you have the energy, you have the vibe that you need to be around. I think that could be a huge, huge, huge factor. I think.
Yeah, I think as far as life in general goes, I think you can really build. I've told myself this all the time because like I don't really talk to like many people around here, so you can build your own environment in your head. Really, like you don't
Facts.
have to have 1,000 people or a bunch of people to be hanging around or whatever. But like I do think having the correct gym, as like for example, like last week I had to go to Fort Smith, which is like an hour and a half from here, and I went to a new gym and like completely different atmosphere, completely different equipment because compared to mine, it's basically like a senior citizen gym. It's pretty
Yeah.
shit. So it's like just being in that environment. I didn't know a single person there, but just having like the equipment and the vibe of the place be completely like what I need. It's like that was a
Yeah.
game changer. I think that was one of the best sessions I've had like literally ever. So
Yeah, I mean, I always put it like this, man. I'm like, if you're training to be in the NFL, like if that's you're inspired to do that, and aspirations to be in the NFL, what's the percentage one of you making it there? But two, you're not gonna have this guy go train in the backyard putting cones down. He's probably gonna go train at some crazy facility, if he's like a top prospect. So it's the same thing. Like, yeah, you can get the job done, but like you can't be around people who are just like, hey man, can you, because that kills your energy. If somebody, hey man, can you lower that down a little bit, like slower? Can you?
yeah,
Even if they mean absolutely no respect, and you don't even have to entertain it, it's just that sense of like, damn, you're not here to work hard. Like you're not here to fucking get better. Like no one's yelling and grunting it's just like you're there in a place to train hard. And man, I said that this morning. Man, I was training a woman this morning. I said, damn, it sounds like a fucking library in here. You know what I mean? So
yeah, seriously, yeah.
I
I felt the
definitely
same thing
think
this morning too. Yeah, it's funny.
you definitely need to be in that environment. But as far as like, if you have a good training partner, you could go anywhere. But as far as like where do you need to be to bodybuild, you do the same shit that you do anywhere. You're gonna get up, do your cardio, go train, and go home. You're not gonna be like, damn, I'm in fucking Dallas now. I'm gonna go party.
Yeah,
You
it's
get
the
you gotta be locked
same
in.
process. Yeah, same process wherever it's at, wherever you're at. But another point that I have like some notes written down here.
You're good, man.
I kept wanting to get to this one. So with 20 in 2026, the biggest talk, and I've seen you post about it, and I'm sure you've seen millions of posts about it. Peptides. I know we're talking about like taking shortcuts and shit, and that's just something that you don't ever think about. But that is one of the most prevalent things in the fitness space right now is peptides, GLPs, and that whole slew of things. So like, what is your overall? I think I heard you talk about this on some podcast you were on recently or some shit. And it's like, what is your take on all of that? Like, good and bad. Like, what do you see from it good, and what do you see from it bad? Because they are like both, kind of, maybe.
I don't know where to start. I'll say it like this. It goes back to the base. I know it sounds like a broken record. Is your water good? Is your hydration good? Is your food good? Is your supplements? Is your gear good? Or is your growth hormone good? It's like a lot of okay. We're talking about peptides in bodybuilders who use peptides. I expect that to be like the last piece of the puzzle. So if you got guys who are trying to come up like your age, and God knows where everybody's getting all this money, who's doing
It's
peptides
crazy.
and fucking primo cycles and fucking 20 IUs of growth hormone. I didn't have it like that when I was coming up, so it was like, if you can't afford to take the fish oil and the vitamin D that your coach has on the plan, it's hard to expect someone to say, yeah, man, go get Retta SLUPP, go get BPC, and fucking do 15, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's now you're talking about someone's financial gain versus loss. So morally, I'm like, I can't tell that. Like, I would rather somebody get organic chicken breasts, filet mignon steak, organic oats, but but you have guys who are getting the regular eggs, the Walmart chicken breast, tilapia, frozen bag. They don't want to do any vitamins, but they've got rid of Tide because it helps with cravings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think like insulin and metformin and shit like that. And if you're doing your cardio and you're eating clean, your glucose level shouldn't be, that
Hmm.
crazy where you need to take a GLP to get it down. Is just my opinion. Now, if you're a guy who is 100% not missing and you're dialed the fucking like a Nick Walker, and you want to do some human experimentation on yourself because there's not recommended human doses. We don't know if it causes a cancerous cell growth. We don't know that. We don't know if there's any abnormality. But being in bodybuilding, there's no rules in bodybuilding. You're cosmetically trying to be judged on your physique. So the way I look at bodybuilding, I don't care if someone does steroids, SEOs, PMMA, fucking hair transplants, calf in. I don't give a fuck what any, because who cares? Like, it's
I
you're
was gonna
oh
say you.
because this
Yeah.
guy has an implant in his calves. Like, he should. Who gives a fuck, man? If he has a better looking body than you should fucking win. Now, if you're a human experimental guy and you're just like, fuck it, I want to see what it does. That's between you and you. But I would like to know if like a guy like Nick Walker. I use him because he's a machine. That if he's using MOTC or SLUPP, and he already knows, like, man, I'm not traveling for the next 20 weeks. I'm in bed at the same time for the next 20 weeks. I live at home with my parents. I'm not stressing about shit. My financial straight. And he wants to add a peptide because he thinks it's going to give a mitochondria benefit at the cellular level because it might give him 0.1% of managing fatigue a little better. It's like, go for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, have at it. But I just don't like. I'll be straight up honest with you, man. I coach for a living, and I have a lot of morals with my coaching. And one of my coaching is to make sure that somebody can do this with a budget friendly and financial advice. But if I see these coaches, and I don't care who to like, take this as you want. It's not trying to be negative. But if I tell you as a how old are you? 21, 22?
20.
You're 20. If I say, hey, look, Maddox, this is what we're gonna do, man. I need you to have uh 15 different vitamins added to your plan. I'm going to have you do an intra, a pre. I'm going to have you do a fiber shake. I'm going to have you do digestive greens. I'm going to have you do a fucking berberine, and I'm going to have you do a probiotic diet. And you have now 10 supplements. Okay, brother, let's go. You're 20 years old. I'd rather you stay natural. You want to do a little bit of enhancements. Let's make sure you have good shit. Maybe you're spending $500 a month. Okay, cool. Use my code on this. Now I want you to get oh, for your inflammation, instead of doing ice bath or icy hot, I want you to go get an injectable peptide, BPC, that is going to cost you $35 a bottle. And you go through a bottle every 2 weeks on top of the TB. And now I want you, like, it just doesn't make sense for the investment.
Yeah.
When you, like I said, not to be a broken record, but you have guys who they don't, hey man, I can't afford beef right now. Can I do chicken? Hey bro, like, I can't afford protein powder. Like, can I do something else? And I'm like, now we altering the plan so you can budget to buy fucking Retatrutide. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, you know?
Yeah, it's like a reference I made to my client this morning because he brought up something about like thermogenics, or thermogenic fat burners or whatever. It's like trying to buy kitchen appliances for a house you haven't even laid the concrete for. It's like
That's
I
it.
don't like it's like I don't really get it. It's like, and that's one thing I see with coaching that's really in the whole fitness space in general that's kind of really shitty is that like the I'm not gonna say the only reason, but 95% of the reason that peptides are so pushed to you is because the person is selling you. That's literally it. And it's like it's really sad to see. It's like
It goes to like digestive health. Gut protocols were the big thing about 2 years ago.
mhm,
I got to take a 3 month hiatus to get my gut, the biome in my stomach. Well, man, you probably, if you break your diet down and you're not doing a bunch of shit like sugar or saturated fat, and you're not
mhm,
causing an inflammatory response from your body, more chances than not, like if we're talking about like you don't need to take something to counteract what you're doing.
yeah,
You
like
know,
fix
does that
fix the
make
root
sense?
cause. Yeah, like fix the root cause in the diet. It's like a lot of I've fallen victim to that too, but it's like especially with like if you're talking in a microbiome or gut microbiome perspective, it's like yeah, let's do all this shake shit. It's like you don't eat any variety in your diet. Like what are we doing? Like you're like
Yeah,
someone said on a podcast I listened to earlier. I think Mike Condell said it. It's like you're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. It's like just fix the root cause. And it's like what I tell people too is like especially like in a diet context, it's like the more simple and the more like not
implement.
the more simple you keep this shit, the easier and longer you're going to be able to do it. If you have to worry about your diet, yada yada yada, and then you start throwing in peptides that have to, I think there may be a couple of peptides like the GLPs have been tested on people or whatever, but most of these peptides have been ran on like rats and like
Right, right.
no human trials. And it's like I just think the shiny object syndrome around peptides is really bad right now because like you'll see, on Instagram, what gets pushed is like the very top percent positive of the peptides or whatever, and it's like if that's all you see over and over, it's like, oh, this MOTS-C is my mitochondria is perfect, and then it's
Yeah,
like the SS31 is like the whatever. It's like that's all you see. Is like it's gotta be good, and then like what other ones like the GLP? I have no appetite or I have no cravings or whatever. It's like that's all you see. It's like you never dive into
GHRP6.
the you never dive into the negatives, and it's like I know like we're talking about being like all obsessed earlier, but it's like you have to be obsessed to a point but not be an idiot, because like there's not
100%.
it's like I think that the fact of having no like real good data behind them is like the scariest part because like you like in 5 years who knows, like we may look back at all these peptide trends and be like holy shit, what were we thinking, you
Yeah,
never
I mean,
know.
it's
It's like
it's 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 definitely gonna be it's gonna fade out. It's the same thing with the SARMs. A bunch of people were like, oh, I could take this SARM and this SARM that, and then it faded out because they got regulated, and then only who does SARMs anymore? Those were supposed to be the next best thing since steroids, and then it's gonna be the peptides, and then once people can't make as much money because they become regulated or they become outlawed, then it's gonna be the same thing. Like they're not as easy to get. It's gonna be underground UGLs. I mean, that's all it is anyway.
yeah.
Coming over, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're the people who are pressing the peptides. I get it. Do whatever you need to do to enhance your body to optimize whatever cell regeneration, fucking longevity and muscle whatever. But it's majority of people taking that, but they can't even go to bed on a bedtime. They can't even drink a liter of water in the morning because it bloats them. Like it, and I
Yeah.
get like genetics different, and not everybody's meant to be a top bodybuilder, but I just think the priority. I guess I'd say priority is the number one. If you have endless money and all your shit's locked in, and you want to
Right.
experiment, man, Do what you got to do. But then on the flip side, if you don't want to be locked in and you want to piss money away and take peptides, do what you do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for real. Yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna take a piss right
You're
quick.
good.
I'm about to piss my pants.
You good? You good? Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I think
The
I think this
peptide thing
nutrition
is.
is out of thought.
Say what?
Wait, hold on. Can you say something real quick?
You hear me?
Yeah, yeah. So what I was thinking when I just went to the bathroom was like, there's so many boxes that have to be checked. I think that guys don't even know they need to be checked. If that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, they're unaware, very unaware.
yeah, that's what it is. And then they're like, well, if I have my diet down, I have my hydration down, but it's like you're pissing yellow, or it's like you said, you're not going to sleep at the right time, or whatever. It's like there are so many things that you can check off first before jumping into that I think just is I don't know. I'm glad that I
Yeah,
don't have the disposable income to just spend all my fucking money on
yeah.
peptides. I just don't see where people are getting the money for it. Like,
It's just it's the wrong message, man, because before peptides, like we said, the nutrition has to be 100%. You're gonna get more out of fucking taking 500 milligrams of testosterone than any peptide that you take. So
yeah,
it's like if you're already taking an excessive amount of PEDs, you're doing what it takes as far as being on your plan. The peptide, sure, man, like go for it. But I just don't think I don't think the investment is
it's
worth the
worth it.
return. But hey, who
Yeah.
knows? Who
Do,
knows?
do you know Luke Pritchard? I think he's been on a podcast with him a
Yeah,
couple times. Yeah, he
yeah.
one thing he always repeats is it's chicken rice and testosterone, bro. Like that's that's fucking all it. That's really all it is.
I mean, some guys use it and they get huge, but every big person that I know, like who's put on over 100 pounds of tissue,
Hmm.
I don't think peptides is the missing link. I don't think
Yeah.
that's the factor.
And like you said, I think it is cool seeing someone like Nick Walker who like literally lives the exact same day every single day, doesn't miss a single fucking beat. Be like, okay, let's change this one variable and see the response. It's like 99% of people, there's gonna be a different variable changing every day, whether it be they fucked up their diet, they fucked up their sleep, this and this and that. With him, I'm 99% sure that none of that shit's being missed. So like you change one variable and you see a difference. It's like, oh, so X does Y. Now with this, most people, you can't. They're gonna like, I don't know, maybe they start taking this peptide and then they start putting more effort toward their sleep, and then they have even like the what's it called, the when you start taking
Placebo,
something, yeah, the placebo effect. So
placebo.
that's why it changes. It's like no, with him it's like 100% all the time. But speaking of Nick
Yeah.
Walker, we brought him up a few times, and I heard your talk. I heard your
Hey Nick.
yeah, I heard you talk about him on another podcast. What are your thoughts on the Arnold coming up? I want to get you. Are you still? Do you
So
still got?
let's
Who do you got?
We got Hottie's showing up. We got Martin, we got Nick, and we got Samson. That's who I think is going to be top four. I mean, I wonder what Brandon Curry's looking like too. He's not posting anything, and arguably he could have went up in the Olympia last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's looking crazy. Like I wish
or not
I
Samson,
wish
but
I could go.
Andrew.
Yeah, yeah. And just see, I'm glad that Hottie got to come to the U.S. because with everything going on in Iran or whatever, like him being
Yeah,
blacked out from the world, that shit was crazy. And like seeing all the turmoil he went through. But did Nick put an update up yesterday? Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah.
He's
All we
looking
see
good,
is this
dude.
his angled waist there. No,
That's
but let's see.
crazy,
I mean,
bro.
I like to break it. So, like, if we think about bodybuilding,
Hmm.
Hottie. I mean, in my opinion, he's the front runner, right? He's the
Yeah,
best place to be
in
Olympia.
my opinion, yeah.
Conditioning but will his legs be down? Like, will Nick's legs from the side, from the back, overwhelm? Probably not overwhelm Hottie. Then you.
What is up? So just wanted to take one quick second away from the video and bring about a few things to your attention. 80% of you guys that are watching the videos are not subscribed. So if you can do one thing, one little favor for Mad Dog for me, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean more to me than you guys understand. Next thing I wanted to bring up are my sponsors. So this channel is not sponsored by YouTube or anything, so I do not make money from any of these videos. And one other way that you guys can support me is by using my code with Nutrex Research Supplements and with Biomyst Peptide Company. Nutrex, I've used their protein for about 2 years now. Get this big, humongous, mumbo jumbo tumbo tub of protein. It'll last you a long time. They have such good flavors. I've used it in my pre-workout meal for like like I said, 2 years now. They got good EAA products. They got some more new stuff coming out as well. So if you guys would like to support the channel, support me on my journey in whatever that is, use code MADX on Nutrex Supplements. That will get you 15% off. And use code Maddox, my name, MADDOX, on Biomyst Labs, Peptides, and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to support me, support the channel, support my journey, and all that kind of stuff, use my codes on these companies. But with all that being said, let's get back to the video.
He's got Martin. Is Martin going to be nails on show day, or is he going to be flat or soft like he displayed in Pittsburgh? I only say that about Martin because once Martin starts to show that he is consistent, that's going to be a whole nother talk. There's Hottie.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Crazy. Basic, I mean, like, me personally, I'm more of a fan of, like, I'm not saying Hottie isn't aesthetic, whatever, but I'm more of a fan of the Andrew build. Like, the tall.
So you like superhuman
humongous dude.
freak.
Yeah, so, like, I would love to see Andrew come in absolutely at his best because, like, I know that he only, leading up to the Olympia, only had, like, what was it, 6 weeks with Kamal or whatever? And so,
Yeah,
like, if he's had all this time with, like, training like that, I don't know. Let's look. I'm gonna get Andrew pulled up too.
I wonder what Andrew's quads will look like. Will they be so full to complete his X frame, or from the back will they be soft? So the reason I put my bet on Nick. So I got a bet with Pete on Andrew versus Nick head to head is because I think front shots Andrew wins 100%. I think Nick on his front double isn't going to be like completely shit on, but his front lat is bad. Side shots, unless Andrew corrects his posing, I'm giving both shots to Nick. So there's 2-2. The back shots, Andrew's back is crazy, but like I just am a fan of conditioning. And in my opinion, if there's conditioning left on the table and Nick nails it where his lower back's dried out, his hams and his glutes are dried out, there's enough crazy detail and shit going on with his arms and his fucking like that. I think that the back shots could push Andrew, but the silhouette, if Andrew gets in shape,
yeah,
Andrew could get those. And then the most muscular toss up for me, ab and thigh, both going to be sharp. Maybe Andrew based on his look. I don't know, man. I mean, my money's on Nick, but let's call it right here. I want Nick to win, but I just don't like. I'm gonna say I want Nick to win. What the judges might call. Fuck Hottie. Hottie's their guy right now.
There's a lot of different stories going into this because like
a lot of stories, man.
Just thinking about like Andrew, new trainer, new like a training approach or whatever. Hottie was
Andrew's, but so Andrew posted that Andrew posted that 5 weeks out shot. Right? Derek, like I think if I recall, Derek was kind of in that similar spot. Like, damn, is Aceto gonna push him now, or is he not? I don't know if Andrew's body from the waist down on the posterior, his glutes and hams, is gonna be dug out enough to put him in that top spot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hate when they do this. Whenever they put like their physique on the preview,
and
then you click on it and it's just them training. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Like this back lat spread just from the thumbnail of the video is ridiculous. You know what I mean? But it's just like the conditioning. It's just the conditioning. This one right here, this back lat.
Yeah, hold on. But he's not like edged out in that ham but he's got five. Exactly. But he's got 5 though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's got 5.
And like we're talking about with the stories, you have like Hottie blacked out from the world. Okay, so you have Nick self-coached for the first time. And I wonder how that's going to go for him. You have Martin, who's been super quiet on social media. And speaking of Martin, I also want to bring that up. What are your thoughts on him and his comments on like social media or bodybuilding social media channels and saying they're all stupid or whatever? Saying they're all.
I think Martin had an emotional outburst.
Dude, yeah, and there was something else that he said today. I can't remember what it was. What was he saying? It was someone tagged him in it, and he was like, "What did he say?" I'll have to find it right quick. But I do think that's a little bit much because like I'm not saying that social media.
Nah, he was in the wrong for that. He was in the wrong for that, man. Martin has to understand that his talking is done on the stage. It doesn't matter what type of dude he is off the stage. It doesn't matter if that he's a fan favorite. Martin now with all the shit that he said and he's a great guy. Oh, he's a bad guy. Oh, he's competitive. He wants to win. That shit really doesn't fucking matter. because if people are talking about you, you're doing something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think he doesn't need to. What he said, I think is just one. I think it's a little immature that somebody got under your skin that much to make you have an outburst like that.
Yeah.
And then two, my advice would be like, dude, if shit's getting to you that much, then you need to just lock in your focus more. Because, dude, Martin's a fucking hell of a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who posted that shitty. But I'd probably Beyond the Stage TV because Beyond the Stage has literally everything posted about bodybuilding all the time. But I do think as well. Martin's very emotional. Like he's like
Yeah.
you everything. I think there it is. Martin responds. That's what it was. So he said responding to a YouTube comment. The media channels are crying because I made a story post saying they are trash. That's my opinion. I don't watch any of them. Just like it's your opinion, I'm immature. It's okay. I'm fine with being the villain in your guys' story. At least when I get my wins, you clowns can't say I'm the favorite.
See, I'll be honest with you. I don't know Martin personally.
Mm-hmm.
So was his comment like passively, fuck all the media, I don't give a fuck, or was he like malicious, like fuck them
Yeah.
motherfuckers? Like
Yeah,
I don't know how he said it. You know what I mean?
I haven't even seen the what he said in the first
I could
place.
see Martin being in like just caught off guard, like what do you think, or did you hear about so and so, and him being like, man, I don't give a fuck about any of those people. Who gives a fuck about the media? I could see him saying that, and then the media being like, ooh, we get to fucking quote this and make him look
Yeah.
like the bad guy. Because man, drama is controversy, which brings eyes and
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean?
I guess this is was the post right here on the right is Martin's I think it's like a story picture. It says
Let's see.
LMFAO most definitely not. I hate all bodybuilding media. They are all trash. See, that's
Like
just kind of like
he could have said that as like a funny
yeah.
joke, or he might have meant it, but it maybe not as malicious as what people were trying to make it out to be.
Yeah.
But knowing him though, if he gets wired up on based upon like the feedback again, Martin might not. He might like not give two fucks what people have to say. Like, oh yeah, cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
they hate me now. Awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're as fans just so invested in what did he say? What is the media? We for all we know, Martin could have took this, typed that, and then went on about his day and was like, let's see what they got to say about this one. Like
Yeah.
no one's talking about me, and everybody loves to make a negative narrative, Martin. So if that's gonna bring the hype on seeing, hey, I want to see Martin fail, I want to see
Mm-hmm.
Martin get beat, it still has people watching Martin. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Fuck
never
what they
know,
say,
man. Unless you're
basically.
like from what I know about Brett being in his camp,
Mm-hmm.
I know Brett kind of more of on a personal level. These dudes aren't getting like worked up over a fucking media post. You know, like they're more focused on like, dude, we gotta fucking go hard on legs today. You know?
Yeah, they're focused on what really matters, and like, and with anything that's said in this, and especially the bodybuilding space, is it always gets blown out of proportion. It seems like someone could say one thing, and then it gets reiterated 9 times, and then by the time you hear it, it's not even what the person originally said, and then what the person originally said, like that didn't seem like that big of a deal. Now, I do
Yeah.
think like the response, I do think that starting to bounce back on comments and being like a little more, I guess, like what's the word I'm looking for?
Petty.
Yeah, just being like a little more petty like that. That's probably a little uncalled for, but it's like who cares? I mean, he's an emotional kind of guy, and I honestly expect it. I wouldn't expect nothing less of him to be like, yeah, fuck you or whatever. But like,
But that's the
whatever.
same thing with like the hot or the Hottie and Martin. Man, I understand that we have to have personalities, and that's what gets people involved in the storylines of bodybuilding. But man, when you're watching the fucking Super Bowl this last weekend, you're not worried about if that NFL or that wide receiver said something about the media. You just like worried about catch the fucking football and I hope you guys win if you're pulling for that team. You know, that's
Yeah.
why I like watching Nick show his emotion. I wish they would let Andrew talk his shit on stage. I like
Mm-hmm.
seeing Martin get fired up on stage. Like that's what I like to see. I could give two fucks about their the what they got saying about the media or what
Mm-hmm.
their opinion is on politics or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Keep definitely the politics. Keep that shit out of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But this is another update that I saw. I heard
Chris
that
was nasty.
Nick Strength and Power talking about this morning was Crizzo's little update he put up. He's a on Instagram. He's always been a bodybuilder. Just looks absolutely redonkulous. Like and then
He's a freak.
it just never seems that like sometimes for him come to fruition on stage. Is he coached by George Farah? Is that his coach? Do you know?
I'm not sure who coaches Chris. Man, I'm not. I like Chris because he's a fierce competitor, man. But every time I see him on stage, it's like
He looks a
it's
little,
just not
yeah,
it's not there. But I mean, when you like I said, you see him here, it's like this guy's a fucking freak.
yeah. Every show that I have watched him in, it's like I think someone said it on a podcast one time was like he looks like a baby deer trying to pose. It's like he looks humongous, and he looks
Heck
like
yeah.
in these updates, it's like what the hell? But then he gets on stage and it's like he's competed like twice. You know,
Yeah,
who am I to talk
doesn't
shit? But
he
it's just like, yeah.
doesn't his tan run a lot? Like, doesn't he usually
Yeah,
like?
yeah, I think that's he shakes. I know. Remember, like I can't remember what show I was watching. I was watching like, did he do Pittsburgh last year?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
he
I
did.
remember watching him at Pittsburgh. Like I was like, had my phone at work, and I was like, why is Crizzo like having a seizure on stage? Like you've been doing this for like how long now? Like I don't get it. But he in these updates, he did look kind of nuts, and I just wanted to bring that up because he's quite the big fella.
He's a freak, man. I mean, he used to compete in that one league. You know,
Yeah.
also I also go back to a think like too, like how like okay, Rubiel, Crizzo, guys like this who are just freaks of freaks. Do they obviously they like bodybuilding, but I look at guys like Martin, Derek, Nick, who are like the body, like they're bodybuilders. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes we as the sport encourage just freaks of nature to pursue bodybuilding, and they get on stage and they display what they have. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What do you think when you see a guy like Chriso compared to a guy like I don't know, fucking Martin or Derek, who seemingly they
I'm
have that.
sorry. What are you asking?
You know, like you got guys who are just freaks. Like Rubiel
Yeah.
looks at a weight and his quads are ridiculous, or Crizzo
Yeah.
with his arms are. And
Yeah.
maybe these guys have been convinced to pursue bodybuilding and compete with the body that they've developed, as opposed to, hey, they're just through and through bodybuilders like Martin, Nick, Derek, those guys
Yeah,
that go compete.
that's like my cream of crop of guys. That's who I like. It's the guys who have built, not just been given like this crazy physique. Like, not saying they were given it, obviously, but like
Yeah, I know.
the guys who like live this shit, do this shit. It's like I think that I'm not saying Crizzo and Rubiel are like part-time bodybuilders, but I do think that there are certain people that are like gifted so genetically that they don't have to be all in like Martin is, like Dare or not
Yeah,
Nick is. Like they don't have to be like that, but you can really read someone pretty well whenever they're like not like the all in kind of bodybuilder. Like I'm not saying they aren't. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but like
No, 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 no. I know what you're trying to say. I know what you're
you
trying to
you
say.
can like with Nick, you know he's like
Locked
checking
in
every single box. Martin is checking every single box. Like Jordan Hutchinson checking every single box. Now these
every
guys
day.
up to question just because they've been very gifted genetically. Not that the other guys that I just named aren't, but like you can just tell with that crop of guys that they're in the shit because they love it.
As a 20-year-old bodybuilder, who do you look up to as a pro bodybuilder?
Damn, that's a. I've been asked that a couple of times. And so I look up to just like everybody really, like everybody that's above me. Like there's not one that like stands out
I feel you.
specifically. Like I look up to my coach. Like my coach is like not to like blow smoke up his ass, but he's like my dad basically. Like,
Yeah,
I never talked to my dad, bro. So like he's a role model for me. Guys like yourself, like guys that have like the past and have done it before and just walk the walk. Like I look up to all you guys to be honest. And there's not one that stands out. Like if we're talking physique wise, one guy I've always liked. Like there's one picture I can. There's literally one picture. Justin Shire is
big
someone
shy.
I've looked up to him. Like I remember when I first got into the bodybuilding lifestyle or whatever you want to call it. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was one of his pictures from I think like USA's or something, and I was just like, what the he just speaking of Justin Compton's one guy I really look up to as well. I
Yeah,
like
Compton
Compton.
had a crazy physique.
I love Compton, yeah. But there's this one picture, but do I not follow Justin Shire? There's no way. Yeah, just really everybody that does this shit. I look up to everybody, man. Yeah, everybody that does this kind of shit. Is it this picture that's not loading? Yeah, this picture. If it's gonna load, I
Let's
don't know.
see.
But I guess not. Or whatever. But yeah, Justin Shire, and just because of like the way he executes everything. Like, not saying that I want everybody that watches this to be as accurate as this guy is, because on all of his like his lifts and everything are like very crazy, but like just this one picture, I wish I should this one, yeah, this. I remember seeing this and being like, dude, that is crazy. Like, that is body. That's awesome. So like, he is one guy I've looked up to physique wise. One guy right now I really like. Do you know Niall Darwin, the classic dude?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be the next. Because if Dino is going open, right?
yeah. I heard that on a podcast that he's gonna pursue his little classic run or whatever he thinks that may turn out to be, and then go to the Open, which I think is gonna be cool too. But this Niles, I think he's the next thing, dude. This shit is
His
crazy.
Niles proportions and his conditioning are sick, bro.
Yeah, I remember when he was, because when he first started on like the social media scene, like getting big, he was with like he's been with Controlled Insanity for a while, which is like a really popular TikTok brand. I'm not calling them a TikTok brand, but they were big on TikTok for a while. I remember seeing him before he blew up, like this dude's gonna be crazy, and then like you blink and this fucker's like fifth the Olympia and like potentially
Yeah.
winning soon. So it's like it's just crazy. But yeah, all these guys in the classic are crazy. It's just ridiculous. I wonder what Ramona looked like without a cap. That'll be interesting to see.
I wonder if you know how Urz's arms came up apparently
Mm-hmm.
because of his cap. I wonder if Dino's legs will fucking just explode, or if
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm curious to see what his body does with no cap.
Yeah,
Because
that was so cool seeing that whole thing unfold with Urs this year. Like I remember
I'm
hearing.
pulling for him, man. I'm pulling for Urz. I think he's a hell of a bodybuilder, and he's only like 27 or something like that.
Ain't that crazy, bro? He's just 27. And just like hearing the stories of him working with Boss, and he's like, yeah, I'm 265 and I've got shredded glutes, and it's like having to mentally tell yourself that you're gonna have to cut down, like take off 40 pounds of tissue. It's like I could not mentally accept that.
He
I
made the
think I
right
would.
decision.
Yeah, for sure. That's nuts.
Oh
That's
yeah,
nuts. Do you think there's anybody else in the classic that could make a jump to the Open like that?
man. Mike Somerville, but he'd have to put on some size, man, because I don't. I'm not sure, man. You know, he has that. What he's Dino's like five. He's like 5'11" or something like that. 5'10".
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
I think him, man. I think like him, and then Mike. I mean, Mike is struggling to make his, from what it seems, to
Mm-hmm.
struggle to make his weight cap. So if he wants to keep playing that classic game, man, it's gonna be. I don't. I think it'll be the telltale sign of what Mike looks like at this Arnold Classic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we're talking about the best, two of the best guys in the fucking world. So it's like, I think any of it with time, anybody could probably jump a class like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Within reason.
Yeah, that's
But
a good
yeah,
point. That's a good point. Someone, I mean, we all would have liked to have seen Chris go under like one good off season and make a run to the
man.
Open, because
Yeah,
that's what he went pro in or whatever. But like that would have been cool to see. But yeah, just off the top of my head, I think that, like you said, Mike struggling to make the weight class would probably be a good one to maybe make the jump eventually. But like you said, all those guys, if they put a good off season toward putting on size and didn't have a cap, they could all probably make the jump because they're all
think
the
so.
top of the game anyways. Switching from bodybuilding, one thing I wanted to hit with you here at the end was, what kind of advice would you give to a younger Chris, or maybe someone like, how old were you when you got into this whole gimmick, this whole bodybuilding thing? You said like 16 or 17.
Shoot, I was yeah. I started prepping at 17 for my first show.
Okay,
So
so
17.
let's talk first. What's some life advice that you would give young Chris, and then we'll switch maybe more into like looking into your young bodybuilding time frame and maybe some advice you give them. So like, what is one thing as far as maybe life goes? You can do life or like mental health, psychology, since you're big into that. I'm big into that. Like, what is one thing that you would be like, hey, young Chris, yada yada
I
yada.
would
What's one
be.
thing?
I would say no one has it figured out. So don't look for outside source unless that person has walked that talk, so to speak. I would tell the younger Chris to stop looking so far forward and this is where I want to be in 10 years and only focus on that so far out. And I would tell young Chris exactly what the fuck I preach now and say what you do today, it will be determined of how the outcome comes tomorrow. Meaning, like, I was the kid, bro, at 22 years old where I'll just go get teriyaki chicken and rice because it's chicken and rice and it tastes better than my home cooked chicken and rice. If I could go back to young Chris, I'd be like, if you could be all in on bodybuilding and not just chase that rush in the gym, you're wasting your fucking time if you're not going to execute the plan. So I tell myself, like, stop wanting to build 10 pounds of tissue. Stop wanting to be on a national level stage and be in the present. And if the gym and the nutrition and the diet is what was giving me peace in my daily routine, why would I look elsewhere to see what's better on the other side? You know what I mean? So I would just continue, I wouldn't, oh man, like I'm 23 years old. I see all my friends getting married. Shit, man, maybe I should get a girlfriend. If it's not on God's time, I don't want it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
as a younger Chris, man, I tried to do a lot of like forcing shit and making things like how I wanted them rather than just not stressing the little shit. Not stressing things that are outside of my control and just being ultra present, because you can wish the time away or you can use the time away, bro. And I think a lot of people who aren't at peace and very content with themselves internally, they wish that time away. And from somebody who's never gonna walk on a bodybuilding stage again, who fucking loved that rush of being on a stage, everybody's time's coming to an end. So doesn't fucking matter if this person's taking peptides. Don't fucking matter if this person's doing a push pull legs versus a bro split. Doesn't fucking matter if your homie's blasting 2 grams of test and you want to stay with the 500. What matters is on what you're fucking doing with your time. That's it.
That's a great message, man. I tell myself that all the time. I try to tell people that too. Is like God wrote your plan specific to you, and it's like stop trying to copy everything around you, because then like you take away from, like, not saying that you're everybody's so cool, perfect, unique, but like God made you unique to yourself. And it's like if you're trying to look around and copy the everything around you, it's like, you're, like I just said, you're taking away from like your uniqueness or whatever. But like from like a bodybuilding prep perspective, what's one piece of advice you'd give yourself? Like, maybe don't do all of that cardio, or don't do that, or like whatever, like a bodybuilding more tailored advice to your younger self.
Younger self, execute the plan and control the chaos in my head, you know like, and not again, I know it's kind of going back to not worrying about what everybody else is doing around me,
Yeah.
not being affected that, oh man, this guy's doing one arm cable rows, or this guy's, and just be so present with myself.
Yeah,
That's what I would
it does kind of tie together, like the same thing with the mentality thing, and with bodybuilding, it's just control your variables, control your life situation, and like a lot of stuff will follow with that, especially because
And
bodybuilders.
I would tell myself, don't be negative. Don't be negative. If you're putting out negative energy, man, that's the only thing that you're gonna get in return. So like, if I could go back to be like, Chris, life always seems to work itself out. The things that we usually stress about in this first world country is bullshit. And just be present, man, and not be so negative, man. There's so much negative in the world anyway, and I was guilty, man. Like, younger me would snap at the chance to argue
Yeah.
or say, no, your way is wrong, my way is better. Now where I'm at in my life with the peace I have, it's like that shit don't even matter. What matters really is what you are doing, what you're doing around your little own circle, your bubble.
Hmm.
That's the only like, if you're feeding in positive, if you're crossing your T's, dotting your I's, if you're doing what you know is morally correct, that what comes around goes around.
Yeah, like you mentioned something about, or we've mentioned a couple of times about, God's plan for you, and God's made you specific, unique to whatever your situation is. So like, how big of a role, didn't even think about talking about this, but how big of a role has your faith played in like your commitment and
Shoot.
in your contentment? Because like, I think that is where, especially in 20, I think it's more of on a come up, like the faith thing.
Yeah.
Maybe some people do it for like a little bit of a fake aspect, which I do see a lot of. But I do think a lot of like a not being content with oneself is not having a strong moral grounding. So how has that played a role in your life with bodybuilding, coaching, business, life, etc.?
Faith is funny, man, because faith is what you create. Faith is only as strong as your belief. So
Mm.
it's deeper than bodybuilding, man. I mean, I've struggled with believing. I've struggled with the why,
Yeah, me
questioning
too.
why.
Me too.
I've questioned with the biology of self, like we are living organisms with a conscious that's revived on blood flow. What happens afterwards? How has my faith? I think I see a faith with morality of like what type of person would I want to be and how do I contribute into the world and society. And if I can go to bed at night, then I feel like I've done well. But as far as like stress of like, okay, so this past week I had car battery die, had to get it registered, water heater busted, had to get a brand new one. Just like financial, like money. But I know that I know that there's has to be something of showing me because there's been two incidences. Don't want to put their names out there, but there's been two health concerns by two people in my close family, not my family, but in my circle of friends that I'm like, shit, man, like it's really not that serious. Like I'm worried about like something that is very temporary, if there's a bad thing with health. So then I try to question my own faith of like, why are you so stressed about something that don't even matter? Why are you
Hmm.
so stressed about something that can be easily repaired while this person is fighting for their life right now?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I try to weigh it out in my head of like, I mean, I think I'm like everybody else, man. I stress about normal shit, but I feel like the person who is less impulsive, aware, and can think with a clear conscience is better than the person who just reacts out of impulse and just
Hmm.
react. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think like that faith that you have allows you to like gain perspective on a lot of things. And I think faith has given me perspective on so many things. Like where it's like I'm stressing about this one little thing, but it has allowed me to have a perspective on like the bigger picture of life. Like, does this really? Are you stress? Why are you stressing so much about this one little thing? Like, look at the big picture of life.
Yeah.
Whether it be
And
like what?
everything's
Yeah.
temporary, man. Everything's
Hmm.
temporary.
Yeah.
Like when I had all those surgeries, I thought in my head because up into so when you decide that you want to bodybuild, you
Hmm.
fucking click in there's no, oh man, I don't want to do my cardio, or there's none of that. When you decide in your head that I'm a fucking pursue bodybuilding,
Yeah.
that's out of the question. So at like 17, yeah, I had my hiccups with like I told you, oh, I'll just do chicken at the teriyaki chicken at White Rice. Up until them surgeries, my brain was driven. Like I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I gotta do in order to win bodybuilding shows. And if I go out while I'm pursuing this, I don't care because I was so at peace in my journey. Then you get hit with surgeries and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. Then reality sits in and it's like you're not coming back because your body is not gonna respond how you want it to respond, but you can still pursue and do the daily deed of bodybuilding. So then after the surgeries, when you contemplate killing yourself, you contemplate like, what the fuck am I doing here? You're battling spiritually of like, why me? Why this? You slow shit down. And then that's where that I've really been practicing my faith, so to speak, the past like 2 to 3 years.
Me too,
So it's
man.
like I'm really trying to relearn my purpose. But now with the coaching and I mean, everybody who knows me knows what it is. I would coach to make money so I could pursue bodybuilding. That's usually what 99% of coaches do is how many clients can I get on my roster? Okay, I got 25 that pays this, and this. I don't have to work, whatever. Okay, I can bodybuild. Now, it's me to live through bodybuilding through people. So
Hmm.
when I see somebody get a class win, when I see this guy get up to 285 pounds, it's like a holy shit. Like these people listened to what I said. They bought into my methods. Like some
Hmm.
coaches don't give a fuck if you do fasted cardio. Some coaches don't give a fuck if you whatever the case is. But I'm like, I try to tell my people, this is what I expect your day to day to look like in order for me to guarantee you the results to possibly win a bodybuilding show, to possibly lose 40 pounds, to possibly build 5 pounds this off season. And
Hmm.
I can honestly say after the USA's and having that epiphany of like, yeah, this shit's over with. Seeing this past year of winning a couple overalls, seeing some people in the lifestyle clientele reach goals like lose 30 pounds, etc., and being present for those conversations. Usually, it's like, man, thank you so much, bro. Like, I'm so happy. Like, I won this show. I owe you everything. I'm like, all right, yeah, man. Like, let me know like when you're ready to get back to work because I was so present on my own shit. But now engaging in these conversations of like, yo, dude, you don't know what like sometimes when you're not, I don't know how to explain this, but I'll do the best I can. So say somebody comes to you, they do well, say they get second place out of 5 people, and you're like, fuck, we missed the win. But then they share with you when the endorphins are down and they're like, hey man, I didn't tell you, but like 8 weeks out, we lost our house and had to move, houses into this, and and then 5 weeks out, my daughter got sick and we were in and out of the hospital. And dude, with you being there, not only as a coach but as a friend, and a friend to keep me accountable, because this is a goal that I said I wanted to do for myself before anything else. You helped me get to that stage and help me create that experience for myself. That shit, bro. I don't know if it's because I'm done competing or if it's because I'm not as hard headed as I was younger. That shit'll get me kind of emotional. Like, damn, like all I did was to say, toughen up and eat your fucking food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas these people are like, dude, without you pushing me, I probably would have just folded. And I think that's what makes the coaching process for me very rewarding outside of the win and the loss records, man. Because truth be told, not everybody's going to be a champion bodybuilder, no matter how fucking perfect they set their daily routine up.
Yeah.
Some people would never make it to the nationals, no matter if they fucking put in 8 years of bodybuilding. They might not ever make a class win. And the guys at the top, like I would say, yeah, bodybuilding's probably not for you. But I do it for those motherfuckers who are like, I never thought that I would ever have the balls or the self-respect to even get on stage and display a competitive physique. Like, I got a client, man, Charlie. He's been with me for years. I coach him. We finally got on stage. But this whole past month, he's been having to do 12, 16-hour shifts, working at his job, staying overnight, still trying to do a bodybuilding. And it's like, man, you try to tell somebody that, who, like me, I had to come home, had to cancel training a client, get the water heater in, then go back to the gym, still got to train. Like, boo hoo, motherfucker. This guy's out here really bodybuilding on his own terms, doing what he has to do. And man, to be a part of people's journeys like that, man, is
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy, bro. Because we all get into bodybuilding for whatever reason. This person might have been an ex-drug addict. This person might have, whatever, at 35 got a divorce. His wife's cheating on him, and he want to have an outlet. Whatever the case is, man. But in order to like do a prep, get the body to mold, you already know because you've done it yourself. You've been fucking peeled. You know the demands of that. To do that on top of somebody's, like, we all go through shit. We all have fucking problems that we face, but in order to be diligent and cross those fucking T's and dot those I's and see what you can display on a stage of bodybuilding, man, that shit is so dope to me, man. It's
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah, I think
it goes beyond just like, I hope you win the show, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that's one thing that I'm glad I've been able to pull out of myself and have worked on a lot, like pulling it back to the faith thing is like you can only be so motivated by like a look at a show or like a placing at a show. And it's like if you have like I have a strong faith or I have a strong belief in like Jesus and God, it's like I want to represent that through my work ethic. And if that
Heck
is
yeah.
the motive, if that's a motive that you carry through your daily routine, it's like how the fuck am I gonna miss on my session if that's my motive? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like if you just have the motive of like, yeah, I want to get on stage and make a couple cool YouTube videos, it's like that shit don't last. Like that's like not saying that's that could be a good goal for you, whatever. Like I'm not trying to knock people that think that, but it's if you
Right,
want
right, right,
something
right.
that will drive you for years, make it rooted in something that actually means something at the end of the day, at the bigger
Facts.
picture. These YouTube videos that you're making, cool, awesome, but it's like in the big picture, what does that mean? Like what does that matter? And it's like when you have something to ground yourself in with that faith, it's like this bodybuilding process is it's pretty easy when you have something that's rooted in you like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 man. Motives are cool, man. It's cool to see like what drives everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
It's cool.
everyone's motives is a little bit different. It's like I hate knocking on people like I keep repeating, but it's like no, there's no motive that's morally right or wrong, but I do think there are motives that are more maybe better to have than like wanting the likes or whatever. Everyone's motives are different. Everyone's motivations and reasons they start whatever are always going to be different.
Yeah, you just got to do this shit for you, man. You know what I mean? I mean, the pray, I don't know. I'll just speak from my own experience.
Mhm.
I would train selfishly because I loved it, man. I didn't care who it inspired. I didn't care if all I knew was one day if I'm working in the gym or if I'm a personal trainer in a gym, if I own a gym, this online coaching shit blows my mind because we get to reach more people online. So I started from just training people in a gym, owning my gym. There was no online coaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just always been genuine. It was always just, man, I just want to train as hard as I can to pursue a competitive bodybuilding. And like, I'll be honest, man, if it motivated somebody, cool. If somebody was like, damn, he's really driven, cool. Like, I just knew that that was going to give me the discipline and I could take that into my life, man. Like, if I'm showing up on time for I'm not a doctor, I'm not a fucking brain surgeon, but one thing I do know is I know how to get the body to change. I know nutrition and I know a little bit about PED use, but I also know about integrity. So like, it goes back to a simple business practice is if you're going to be a personal trainer and you're a personal trainer who's always, hey man, I'm right down the road, like just get on the bike, I'll be there in 10 minutes. You're already fucking with that person's time. You're fucking with that person's energy and like focus of like, damn, now I'm waiting on my trainer. I was always going to be the guy that I'll be at the gym when you show up, I'll be there ready to get your shit going. So like dependable, reliant, consistent shit that you
Mhm.
learn from bodybuilding and just applying that into the bodybuilding world to make a dollar so I could create a living for myself.
Yeah, there's so many like that's something that's so cool to me is all the every little bit of the process, call it the process or whatever, is you can
Yeah.
apply that to any endeavor you go into and you will probably be successful. Like if you
Thanks,
if you
man.
really check your boxes in bodybuilding and just apply that shit to any skill, hobby, job, whatever, if you will carry that over, you can make literally anything happen.
And I say this, man. So like, think about it like this, and it's never gonna be like this. But you have a doctor, and this doctor is an amazing doctor. He's passed all his boards. He's the best at what he does, and he's got a reputation. But he's gonna go in and perform surgery on your knee. And the surgeon. Do you want this guy to be, well fed and hydrated and not sleep deprived and so he can do his job better? He might be the best in the world, but how do you take things that are in your control that really require no thinking, unconscious to be able to set your body up to function like your bodily function to perform at the best, be it doing knee surgery or be it doing uh 185-pound bench press. You know what I mean? Like, why would you not want to set your body up and treat it the best that you can in order to perform at the best that you can? I
Literally.
don't understand that. Or it almost seems, and not even trying to go on a tangent or be negative, but it seems like people, they just want to get the most out of the least. And it's like,
Yeah.
my brain doesn't wrap around that. Like, it's like, why would you, okay, if you're doing the least, but now what are all the variables that contribute to another part of that component? Like when you
Mhm.
have a car and all you worried about is, man, I got the best rims, I got the tires, but now your transmission is lacking because your oil, or I'm not a mechanic, I don't know all
Yeah.
the shit, but you don't have your lights don't turn on because you're so hyper focused over here that
Mhm.
you're missing out on what can get everything to run even more effectively and efficiently.
Yeah,
You know?
you can't just be checking off one box and bodybuilding and any endeavor you go into. You got all these little boxes you got to check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the best part about this all is like just
Yeah.
checking like I know as cliche and as corny as it sounds, but it's like the checking the boxes and it's like the journey there. Even though it's hard for me that coming from someone that hasn't like achieved a lot in bodybuilding to say like the process is what is happiness and what drives like the happiness from bodybuilding because I haven't achieved a lot. So it's
Facts.
kind of hard to say that, but like just from what I've heard, like from guys like yourself and people that have been in your position that have achieved a lot, it's like that's what matters. And it's like I'm glad that that is something I've been like thought about a lot. Whatever. It's like the process of it all.
And think about it like this too, man. Like bodybuilding versus a relationship. You got guys bodybuilding. What? Hold on, where am I trying to go with this? I got a brain fart. I got a brain fart. I was gonna relate to this to a relationship, but I can't. I
Yeah.
can't come up with the words right now.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. But one thing that I my goal with every podcast is to end this with, and I think you'll probably like this, is if you were to leave the world today, I'm sure you've probably heard a question like this, but if you were to leave the world today, Chris, what and how do you want to be remembered? Whether that be bodybuilding, as a person, as a son, how do you want to be remembered?
That my word meant something and I never changed up for nothing, bro. Like I want to be remembered as whether you talking to me through the screen, whether you come hang out at my house, if I interact with you at a bodybuilding show, is authentically me and genuine. And that's what I want to be. I never fuck nobody. I never try to get on over on nobody. And I speak very passionately. And that's what I want to be remembered as, man. Just passionate about bodybuilding, man, and trying to help people, bro. You know, and
That's awesome.
I know people are they're gonna remember me as being a sarcastic asshole, but it's all love, man. It's all love. It's all personality. I try to come across to help people be better themselves, man. Because I'm a work in progress. You know, I listen to podcasts, I have conversation, and I always try to detect when it's genuine or like just a kind of a waste of time. You know what I mean? So if anybody has interaction with me, man, I just wanted people to know that my word is my word. You know, like if I said it, I fucking mean it. And authentic, bro. Just come to me. You know, if you hear something about me, if my name's being gossiped, come to me. I'll tell you exactly what it is. And that's what I hope people remember. Like I was a straight shooter.
Yeah,
Straight shooter.
just coming from like looking from the outside looking in, like that's definitely the message you give across, and that's really the main reason I wanted to get you on. And like I kind of gave you like an overview of what I want the podcast to kind of be about or whatever, and
Yeah.
you fit that narrative very well, like through your training, back in the day, and you still train like a fucking animal, but like through your training, through the way you speak, through the way that you get your message across, and like the way that you every morning, like the morning cardio story or whatever. It's like
Oh yeah.
you're very consistent. So that message that you want to leave behind, you're definitely leaving an impression already, bro. So, but man, it's been great getting to talk to you, bro. This has been fucking awesome.
Heck yeah.
This has been
I'm glad I
awesome.
got to come on, man. I come on again, bro, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is something I like just started picking up doing. I saw like a couple of my mentors they do podcasts. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this shit a shot. You probably saw that my camera like turned off like at the very beginning of this. Like I'm
You
still trying
good.
I'm still trying to get some of this back end stuff working over. But like I think people that listen to podcasts don't really care about the
They
camera.
don't, bro.
They put it in their ear and they go to work. So like it does
Yeah.
all that kind of shit doesn't matter. But this is a really good episode, man. I'll probably just wrap it up there. I'll get you a link. I don't know when this will go up. Probably Monday or something like that. But I'll get you a link
There you
to
go.
all this, man. And then, but yeah, I'd love to have you back on like some other time in the future. We could shoot the shit again and just talk again, bro. But this has been awesome, man.
Always down to talk bodybuilding, man.
For sure. Yeah, you've
Oh yeah.
always you've always been someone I looked up to, man. I appreciate this, bro.
Hey, anytime, bro. Anytime, man.
All right, see you, bro.